Got a change of strategy on this mirror project. This is that second mirror I had. I'm trying to remove all of the adhesive on the back of it right now. It's going a little bit faster this time. I think my method is improving. But I kept trying to come up with ways to make the frame for the other one, the one where I used the 1/2-inch plywood as a backer board. And the more I got to thinking about it, the more I realized that, as I tend to do, I was overcomplicating it, and I've got a much simpler way to work with this mirror. My main reasoning for putting this 1/2-inch plywood on the back of this mirror was to give it some support so that the mirror wouldn't flex. Well, the problem that I noticed is once that I glued this on here, the plywood itself is kind of bent a little bit, and it's causing this entire mirror to just bow like that, which is definitely the opposite of what I wanted. Problem number 2, this thing is really heavy with that attached. Problem number 3, with the 1/2-inch plywood and then the mirror itself, which is maybe a 1/4 inch thick, and then that construction adhesive in there, this comes to about 1 inch thick, and the frame I was going to use was that 3/4 inch poplar. So the problem there is I couldn't make just a regular frame with a rabbeted inset where this would drop down into without building that frame up a little bit, which would mean I would need to get some more lumber. Then I thought about making some sort of a channel system that the frame would just fit around this, and that seemed also just overcomplicated. The longer I thought about this, the more I realized that the only function for a backer board on this mirror would be to protect that silvering on the back so that it doesn't get scratched. And especially if I'm going to attach this inside of a rabbeted frame, I'll need to put some nails or something around that. And I certainly don't need the 1/2-inch plywood. So I thought about using 1/4 inch plywood, but then the more I thought about that, I thought, well, I'm kind of replacing this with the same problem. Why not just attach some cardboard to the back of this? And that's all I need to protect this. As long as I've got the mirror attached to a sturdy frame and the frame itself is attached to the wall, there shouldn't be any flexing to the mirror at all. I don't even think I need to glue the cardboard to the back of the mirror. I think as long as it's in the frame, I should be good to go. This is just another example of how my brain tends to want to overcomplicate things. And whenever I'm stuck on a problem like that, and I just give it some time, I'll usually come up with a much simpler solution. So hopefully this will work. I've got some dado blades in my table saw. I'm gonna cut a rabbet on each of these frame pieces. These are gonna be pretty wide and deep rabbets. I'm making these wide rabbets on the ends of the boards to make half-lap joints. I have a separate video that elaborates on this method for making frames. I'll include a link down in the description. So here's how that's gonna fit together. I've got a wide lap joint on this side, and then it's kind of a smaller one on this side. So I can glue these together, and then these rabbets will all line up and they'll be square, so I don't have to try to chisel out that square corner. Usually I could just cut this with a router and it would have a rounded corner on there, but obviously I can't cut down the mirror's corner, which I would usually do when dropping a panel in place. I've got this temporarily clamped together so I can get a test fit here. Probably a little bit too much side-to-side action going on, but I think that's going to be okay. I think I can actually run a bead of caulking in there. So this will be the back of the mirror here. It'll actually be flipped over. Now I can glue this together. This is the front of the frame here, and I actually got the rails and stiles backwards. Usually on a door, the stiles go all the way up, and then the rails, the horizontal pieces, fit inside of these, and I kind of got these backwards. But it doesn't matter, since this is going to be painted, it's not going to show anyway. And really, you know, the direction of those rails and stiles is just, near as I can tell, it's just an aesthetic thing. It's just kind of the traditional way it's done, because it doesn't affect the strength of a door, a frame and panel door at all. I like using these half-lap joints because it makes squaring up a frame really easy. and they're super strong. If you look really closely, I made that same mistake on these doors on my BMW Plus. They're made the exact same way as this, except I think I did the same thing, is where I was like cutting the pieces, I was working on the reverse side and I didn't flip it around in my head. I got a lot of stuff flipping around in my head. Another thing I find that can be difficult in woodworking is exercising restraint. My first thought after I took the clamps off of this frame was to get out my router and make a round over all the way around this and maybe bevel the insides of the frame. But the rest of the cabinets in that bathroom have this nice square look about them, and I want to try to match that as close as possible. So all I'm doing is just easing over the sharp edges a little bit. It's kind of like when you first get a router and you get one of those multi-bit sets that has a whole variety of different bits, and so you put a Roman OG on everything. Not that there's anything wrong with the Roman OG. Okay, new plan, scrap the other stuff. This video is totally different than it started out to be. So, okay, imagine this is the mirror. It's about 1/4 inch. Okay, so it's gonna drop down into these rabbets here. So my thought was, okay, I'll put cardboard backing over that. That way I can hold this into place like you would artwork in a picture frame, just by putting some tacks in the sides here. That would just hold it in place. And that's the whole point of the cardboard, was so those tacks don't damage the backing on the mirror. But now I got to thinking, well, why would I need an entire sheet of cardboard on there? Really, I just need a little bit to protect those areas where the nails are. And so I could probably find something for that. Plus, I got to thinking, I don't know if I want cardboard on the back of a mirror that's gonna be in a bathroom, even though, you know, we've got an exhaust fan and everything, but I just have a feeling that that cardboard would draw moisture over time. So I've scrapped the cardboard idea. Okay, so work with me here. Okay, so the idea is that I'll put just the mirror in here, into this rabbet, okay? And then I'll have some sort of a cushion up underneath each tack or nail, and I'll just put a few nails in on the side, just kind of hold it in place. Then I can run a bead of that mirror construction adhesive all along the inside of this to help hold it in place. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. I think it will, but I gotta make a trip to the hardware store and get some stuff. Plus I need to get some more of the spray paint for this, so see how that goes. I'm gonna paint the back side of this too, just to protect it from moisture. Okay, I'm refining my plan now. So I was at the hardware store, I was getting some more of this mirror construction adhesive, and then I was trying to think of ways that I could to protect the back of the mirror as I drive nails into the rabbet to hold it in place. And I thought, why do I need to drive nails in there if I'm going to be using this stuff? At least it seems like this should be my first course of action, and if it holds well, I don't even need to put those nails in. So that's my current plan. I'm just going to attach the mirror with adhesive onto a really basic frame. This is the simplest project ever. I have no idea why it's taken me this long to get to this point. I don't know. Oh, one other thing I thought about too is that there's not going to be enough room on the back to make a French cleat that would set in there. And I was going to hang this using a French cleat. And then I thought about putting it on the outside of the frame, but the problem with that is that it won't fit flush to the wall. So here's my solution. I'm just going to screw this directly into the wall. Imagine that. So that will leave screws there, but I think what I can do is inset those and then plug those with a dowel, sand it smooth, psst, 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 paint right over it. That's my plan. we'll see how this all comes together. I'll see you tomorrow.